Bonjour, welcome membership. Today's date is Thursday, September 4th, 2025. I want to welcome you to another update. This particular update is in reference to housing and the many calls and texts that I received through the last few weeks. The question being asked by many is, will I be getting a house? A simple answer to that question, and one that I've told everyone I have spoken with, is we don't know who will receive a house at this point. Housing is currently going through applications and scoring each one. Scoring according to criteria is meant to be objective, fair, and transparent. It is not based on whether you are related to me, council, or members of the housing committee. The application is based strictly on need. I understand that many of our members require a home. We require upwards of 500-600 houses. Unfortunately, we won't have enough houses for everyone, and as a result, we want to be as fair as possible in the process. I also understand that some will be happy to hear the news, while others will be upset or angry. We will be criticized for the housing list that comes out, but I want to reassure you that we are working to be as fair as possible with all members. It's important for our members to understand that housing comes under different federal programs. We have the CMHC program, where 2 acres must be surveyed as common band land. This is a requirement under that program. We also have the Children's Fund and the Immediate Needs Funding for housing. Then there is what many call flood housing, which is designed to replace your home if it has been condemned as a result of the flood. The 30 transitional units I discussed in a previous update are part of this flood housing stock, serving as a transition point until your permanent home is complete. We continue to work on that file. A point of clarification for our members is that the units you see that went up in the old town site were ordered under previous leadership. The issue is that they were never paid for with the funding that was received. Under my leadership, we paid for these homes. I share this because we have been left with many unpaid bills, incomplete reports, and threats of litigation as a result of these outstanding bills. This affects our cash flow and ultimately what we can do for our members. For example, many members have been calling for repairs to their roof, ramps for the elderly, window replacements, and more. Our cash flow is tied to these budgeted items. When there is no cash flow, there is no budget, and as a result, nothing gets repaired. It is not that we are ignoring your requests. It is simply a matter of a lack of resources. With that, here's the brief outline. In terms of the selection criteria, the Housing Committee used for the allocation of upcoming available housing units. Number 1, the housing units available. A limited number of units will be available for allocation in the upcoming period. These units vary in size and accessibility features. For example, there are single bedroom units, multi-bedroom homes, and barrier-free units. The second criteria was group selection. So whether you fit into the category of elders, 55 plus, single units or single adults rather, community members with limited physical and or cognitive abilities, families with more than 4 children, and families with 4 or fewer children. Another criterion was the application and wait list. So a number of housing applications one may have submitted. The length of time that you've been on the PEGUS housing list was also considered. A fourth item is the current living conditions, the location and logistics of available units, and the safety of the current unit, whether there was mold or other health-related considerations. And also the cleanliness and upkeep of the current unit. There are several points that I would like to note. First of all, this list is not exhaustive. These are just examples of some of the criteria the Housing Committee used.
The second point is that all housing placements are subject to the final approval by the Peguis Housing Committee and the availability of suitable units. Peguis Housing Committee and administration continue to work hard to secure housing for our community. The committee will ensure a fair and transparent selection process is implemented, and we look forward to enhancing the application process, housing program, and communication with the community. Finally, it's important to know that this is our first round of housing. We have been successful in accessing federal dollars under these programs due to the completion of outstanding reports. We lost housing opportunities in the past because these reports were not completed. We do not intend for this to happen again. So while the process we are trying to implement is not ideal, it's an attempt to be fair, objective, and transparent. Miigwech, and thank you for your time.